So what I wanted to come on and share with you today, and I don't actually know how long we're going to talk for, I wanted to share my knowledge and wisdom around sales, but specifically around the art of feminine leadership, of feminine energy in sales, because this is something that I really had to learn how to embody and embrace and untangle from my 20 years in corporate business sales, which is a very masculine, energetically dominant frequency. There's nothing wrong with masculine energy and there's nothing wrong with feminine energy. What happens is when it's out of balance, it doesn't feel good. And so I was in a space where the energies were out of balance. So I left that space. I brought balance into my inner being. And now I want to share with you what I have learned, because it's really helped me bring so much more joy, so much more pleasure, so much more richness and depth and connection and intimacy, and just joy to what I do. I am naturally a talkative person. I'm an extrovert introvert. My parents used to tell me I could sell a refrigerator to an Eskimo, and this is going back because I don't even know if you can say that anymore. But yeah, sales is very naturally, because I want to help, I want to share, and I have all these things that I want to share. But when somebody says, follow my system and follow my process, it might work for some people and it might not work for some people. And for those that it doesn't work with, it feels very square peg round hole. And it's heavy and it's resisting and it's uncomfortable and it's exhausting and it's stressful and it's overwhelming, because you're like, why am I trying? I'm working so hard to do what you want me to do because I want to share what you have to give to people. But you're doing it in a way that doesn't feel in alignment with who you are. No matter how much you try, it's just going to just feel icky and uncomfortable. And so what I want to do here today is open up the conversation and introduce the art of feminine leadership in balanced, harmonious partnership with masculine leadership in sales. And it's not even really sales, it's sharing, it's offering, it's, hey, I've got something really cool. What do you think? Would you like to learn about it? Awesome. And if not, no problem. It's not, oh my God, I need you to make a sale, to put food on my table, and I'm going to chase you and hunt you and seek you down because you have something that I need. Very different than, yeah, do you want it? Do you like it? Awesome. If not, not a problem. So I'm just going to see where everybody's at with this. What I'm going to do is go through a couple of examples and then really just really open up the floor. My intention with this is to be a workshop style experience. So bring your questions. You can drop them in the chat. If you're live with me on Zoom, you can share in the chat there. You can come on camera. You can show me. This is really an interactive workshop of, I just want to learn how to do this easier and more effortlessly. And I want to have fun doing this and without the competition piece. Okay. So collaboration over competition is really the foundational difference with the feminine energy. And I'll let you in on a little secret. When you trust yourself to lead in a balanced energy, and there's a lot of mindset and there's a lot of energetics and there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes with this, attachments, dependencies, it's a whole other class we can talk about with that. But when you're in a clean frequency, you're not afraid to collaborate. You're not afraid to co-create, because you're not taking from one to give to another. There's more than enough to go around. But the difference between competition is, I want what you have because I don't have it. So I'm going to fight and I'm going to work my butt off and I'm going to survive to get what you have. We know when we're in harmony, there's more than enough to go around. And that's a lot of untangling and a lot of deprogramming and deconditioning of this primal survival that we as animals, primal animals, have had to, it's part of our DNA. And so this is a lot of unlearning. And so sometimes some people get this faster than others because you're on a different journey. And sometimes It takes people a little bit longer to get it. Full disclosure, it took me a long time to learn how to untangle the competitiveness. I'm very competitive. When I was younger, I was egoically competitive because I wanted to beat everybody, because I wanted to be the best. I didn't realize that it was a competition against myself. Now it's, I want to be the best version of myself. Very different energy. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting to just dump all that there. So I'm going to check in and see how you all are doing. And if there's anybody here that has any questions, hi, Gina. Hi, Jennifer. So please bring your questions forward. I want to understand where you're at with regards to selling. How does it feel for you? Is it working? Is it not? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Let's have this be an open conversation, because I want to help you, because everybody's different and everybody's in a different journey and a different comfort level with sharing and selling and offering. And yeah, I really want to help you be successful with everything that I've learned, excuse me, in my 20 years of working in corporate business IT sales in Fortune 500s, in startup.coms, and also something called the channel, which is resellers. And I'll give you an example of that. So you go to the Apple store at the mall and you're working with Apple, but then you can go to your local phone dealer and they can sell an Apple phone as well. They're called resellers. And so there's many layers of selling, okay? So I've worked with all of them. So I'd love to hear where your comfort level is, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10. For anybody that's live or anybody that catches the replay, just drop it in the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your comfort level with selling, with offering, with sharing? 0, I don't know how, it's really uncomfortable, it's really scary. And 10, like not a problem, totally tickety-boo, we're good to go. I'd love to hear where you're at with that. And so while you're putting your answers in, I'm just going to pull up a couple documents, which I'm going to walk you through. And I'll give you some very high level guidance on how we can begin to shift our energy and our perspective on how we communicate with people from a selling perspective. So let me just pull that up. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to share my screen. See if anybody answered yet. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I feel like I can do sales one-on-one in person, but I'm having trouble with sales online. Awesome. Okay, totally understand. So I'm going to ask you, Jennifer, if you can elaborate, what do you feel is the trouble with selling online? Is it you're selling something that you have that you're trying to put words to what it is here? Or is it you're selling a product or a service of somebody else's and you're trying to share it? Let me know where you're at with that, and then we'll go a little bit further. And while you're responding, same thing for you, Gina. Love it. Selling 2, offering 7. And do you know what I see with that right there? The selling is, it's like I picture like one of those guys that opens up the coat and they've got like all the like the gold coins and stuff. And it's like, hey, I got this and this and this. Do you want it? And it's like, it feels icky, right? But when you're offering, you're standing from a place of embodiment. Like, I already believe in this wholeheartedly. I know because I am. Would you like to learn more? Very different. And so as we move from maybe something we don't believe in or something we don't trust or something that we don't embody to something that is in us and a part of us, that's the first step of increasing the flow and increasing the ease. And really the foundational piece to that is trusting yourself, leadership, not doing what something outside of you is telling you what to do. Does this feel good to me? And if it doesn't feel good, don't do it, okay? So we're going to keep going. I'm going to pull up and let me know if that helps or if that makes sense as well. Okay, so I am going to pull up. I have to figure out how to share this. Just one second. Okay, so I have created this document. I'm just going to make sure you guys can see it. I think you guys can see it. I've created this document, and this is a combination, excuse me, of everything I've learned in, God, I've lost count of the amount of sales trainings and courses that I've taken through all of the companies that I have worked with. And foundationally, they're amazing. I love the structure. We do need that masculine structure so that the feminine communicative piece of us can feel safe to lean back and hold and relax and enjoy. If you don't have a structure, you're seeking and looking for the structure in something outside of you. That's that seeking, right? Because you're trying to hold on to something. But when you have this stable container to hold you, that you trust and you believe in, it might not be perfect, but it's like it's wrapping a warm hug around you. You're like, okay, I got this. I can at least know I can do this. And then I can pause and reflect and continue to realign and tweak and make it feel really good for me. Okay. And so the very first thing we do is we start with stage one. And I'm going to put kind of corporate lingo to this because it is a bit important to have structure. This is your exploration. This is your prospecting stage. This is literally like you're dating. You're going to the bar. You're having a conversation with somebody. You meet a friend at a coffee shop. You're just chatting. You're just exploring. You're being curious. You're asking open-ended questions. Okay. And so the difference between masculine communication and feminine communication is masculine is the action. That's the one that makes the decision. Would you like to do this or this? Yes or no? In feminine communication, it's cool. Tell me more. Why? Like, what do you mean by that? And so when you're in the initial parts of a conversation, I would encourage you to communicate with that feminine energy where you are only curiously exploring and having conversation where there's no action. There's no decisions, because how can you make a decision if you don't know anything about what's going on? So just keep yourself in that feminine, explorative communication. I'm just checking the chat for a sec. Oh, I guess it shares my whole screen. Let me just read this while I continue, because this is meant to be like a back and forth. I don't know what's going on with my screen, so I apologize. I think it is communicating in writing. I'm not sure how to get out what I want to say. I'm looking to launch my coaching next month, so this is all new. I also did network marketing for products, and the same thing. I have an idea in my head, but yeah, all right. And it makes total sense. The word sale, yeah, exactly. Because it's so funny because like I was in sales for 20 years. Okay, I'm going to go back to my screen. Oops. I apologize because doing Zoom and Facebook at the same time is really confusing for me. Okay. So Jennifer, to your point, part of that is also trusting yourself to stand and speak in your authenticity. And there's fear, there's doubt, there's uncertainty, there's the being seen. Like, oh my God, what are people going to say? Like a lot of this is subconscious undercurrents of just patterns and habits that we get to move through with our mindset. And I mean, I still go through it too, right? Every time I level up and I want to be seen and heard more, it's like, oh my God, like what are people going to think, right? And so you might kind of do this, but the more you stand in your authenticity and trust what you're speaking and embody and believe and know, people are going to feel that frequency. And that's also the confidence that is going to, that's your masculine energy holding that foundational confidence that, you know what, my feminine energy within me, she's badass, and I'm going to just hold my boundaries and give her that megaphone to speak. I got her. And then the feminine is like, oh my God, I love you. Thank you so much. Like, this is amazing. I can be wild and free and speak my voice because you're protecting me and you're saving me. And this is amazing. This is this dance, this feminine and masculine energy dance that happens within you when you're communicating. Okay. So just thank your masculine for doing the best that he can. Like, he's learning how to grow in his maturity and his communication and in his boundaries. Allow your feminine to say, oh my God, thank you so much. That was amazing that you did that for me. And then let your masculine say, you know what? To my feminine energy within me, that was amazing what you said. I'm so proud of you. I love you. I'm honored to be in your presence because you're important. And what you're saying is important. Keep speaking. Keep speaking. It's important. And it's this back and forth. This is part of why we're hosting this summit, this leadership summit, because for thousands and thousands of years, there's been this disproportionate balance where the feminine hasn't been seen as important. She's different. That energy, that frequency is different. And we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. Whether you're a cat, a dog, a plant, a man, a woman, everything has masculine and feminine energy within us. But for thousands of years, it's been disproportionately out of balance because of a control, because of survival. And so now, as this feminine energy within us says, hey, wait a minute, I'm important. I want to speak. I want to be seen. I want to be heard. We're letting go of the unhealthy, controlling masculine energy and unhealthy, controlling feminine energy. And our healthy masculine energy is learning how to hold our healthy feminine that wants to speak. And then it's this recalibration, right? So this isn't going to happen today. This isn't going to happen tomorrow. This isn't going to happen this year. This is going to take thousands of years of evolution. So I hate to break it to you. This is a journey. And so this is why it's so important that every time you rise up and you take a step forward in a more healthy, more authentic, empowered space, thank yourself. Okay, so important. So I know I kind of got off a little bit off track with that, but that is really the foundation of the communication, the shift in how we're having to relearn how to communicate. And all of this implies to sales, because literally every single transaction in the universe is a sale. You're selling yourself. You're selling yourself. Well, do I believe this? Do I not believe this? I don't know. Can I? Shouldn't I? I don't know. You're selling yourself in the sense that you're having this relationship with yourself, and you're having relationships with your clients and your friends and your coworkers and your community and all the people that need you to share and offer what you have to help them learn how to be more authentic and enjoy life more and be in more pleasure. You don't need to sell them. You just show them, this is how it is, and I'm going to offer it to you. Would you like it? And so this is why the first step of exploration is so important. And now I know, coming from corporate, there's KPIs, key performance indicators, there's short and long-term goals, there's EBITDA, there's stock prices, there's board of directors, there's profit sharing, like there's all of these metrics behind the scene that have distorted the actual purpose of the business, which is, I've made this product or I have this service because I want to help you because it's really cool. But then so much gets in the way that distorts it and it throws it off balance. So the very first stage is to explore, is to have a conversation. How are you? What do you need? How can I help you? Amazing. Tell me more. Okay. And then as you continue to go through that exploration stage, then you're going to put your business leadership hat on. You're going to put your masculine action, because you are here to help them solve a problem. So then you're going to ask them some questions. Okay, tell me about your problems. What are your goals? What are your short, your long-term goals? What are you doing about it? What's your plan? And now you can do this one of two ways. Okay. There's people in the world that are list people that write things down, that have everything planned. This is me, as you can tell, because this is a list. But then there's people that looking at this sheet makes their head explode. And they're just like, I don't know, this is how it feels. This is what I want it to look like. And, this is so funny because my business partner, Meg, she's like a general manifester, and I'm a very specific manifester. And so the difference is with one you feel, and with one you get as detailed as you can. But the end is the same. Tell me, put me in that space. I want to understand. You're still dating. You're not selling. This is the qualification process. You can do all of this through conversation. You can do this through automation, which is another level up of your masculine energy saying, you know what, feminine, I just want you to have fun and just go swim in your pleasure. We've had enough conversations. We know through patterns, this is typically the way people converse with us based on what we have. So we're going to make it easy for everybody. We're going to make it easy for you, and we're going to make it easy for the people coming into our world. So we're going to automate it. So you can't automate until you have the conversations. But a lot of this can be done through email automation, through funneling, through polls, through quizzes. And eventually you get to the point where it's so funneled and automated. It's so natural and so effortless. But the undercurrent of it is you got to qualify and you got to prospect. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the chat and just see where everybody's at. Hi, Melanie. No problem. You can grab the replay. Okay. Okay. So then what you're going to do is you're going to validate. Okay. So this is when you think about it like a funnel, right? A sales funnel, any kind of funnel. You just want to keep filtering. Okay. And through this validation piece, this is where you're like, okay, so we've had enough conversation, makes sense. Now, to continue in flow, everything has a circadian rhythm, okay? And you naturally know the sun rises at 8 and the sun sets at 8. The moon goes in a 30-day cycle. We have 12 months. We have a year. We have an expectation of a circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm brings calm and groundedness to our experiences. And so when you wobble outside of that circadian rhythm, like, could you imagine? Well, I mean, no, you go to the South Pole or the North Pole and there's sun 24 hours a day, or there's darkness 24 hours a day. For somebody that's never been there before, that's pretty mind-blowing and different. And naturally, you're going to be like, hey, the sun is supposed to set. Why isn't it setting? What's happening? I'm using this as an example because in sales or in offering or in communication, there's an ebb and a flow. There's a back and a forth. There's a giving and a receiving. And it's natural. And when you follow this natural circadian rhythm, it makes sense. It flows. That's the feminine nurturing energy of flow, and the masculine saying, okay, we still got to act and we're going to go this way. And so the reason I'm sharing it from this perspective is that this is part of the validation place where you have, okay, I've gathered enough information about where you are today, current state. We've had enough of a conversation about where you're at, future state. Now we're going to bridge the gap. My product and service is the gap. And now I'm going to further qualify, how does this feel through communication? I'm still not selling. Can I help you bridge this gap? I think I can. Let's chat. Okay. So then you move to the qualification. You're going to ask them, do you have all the right resources in place? Are you working with someone? Tell me it's still pulling. You're not selling. Tell me, what are the specific actionable things you're doing to bridge your gap? Because what you're looking for is for holes. Okay. Natural circadian rhythm. There's a natural gap. Good. There's another natural gap. Amazing. Not a problem. They still might not need your help. They might be completely fine with a gap. There might be any number of reasons why they're comfortable having that gap. Okay. Following the circadian rhythm, there is going to be a point in the conversation where it's going to feel natural and correct for you to say, hey, we've chatted enough. I think I've got something that can help you. Would you like to learn more? Yes or no? Now you're changing the energy from the person that you're talking to being in their feminine to being in their masculine, to having them make a decision, because the masculine energy is decision, it's action. Would you like to learn more? Yes or no? Yes, tell me more. Amazing. And then you tell more. And if they say no, no problem. You could ask maybe why. It's up to you depending on, but you want to be very careful from an energetic perspective that you're not unconsciously, because 97% of how we operate is unconscious. And so if you start getting your energy depleted and they're like, no, I can't, and you don't know why, because you haven't qualified at the beginning. Maybe you didn't ask them about their financials. Maybe you didn't ask them about their personal information. Maybe they didn't share. Maybe they're too busy doing a bunch of other things. Maybe there's a gap in the qualification piece. And then so when you offer, and if they say for whatever reason no, and you start seeking, you're unattaching yourself to needing them. And then you immediately put yourself in the victim state. The energy feels off and it feels icky. And then the conversation shuts down. And if you're not catching it, you're going to keep asking and asking and asking. It's cold calling the same person 7 times and they don't return your calls. They're ghosting you because you've missed a vital piece of the communication, which is first and foremost honoring them as a human, respecting them, loving them, caring for them, and trusting that you have created the space for them to step forward and say, this is what I need. So if you get to the point where when you're talking to somebody and they're like, yep, not a problem. I'd like to learn more. This is what I have. You're still not selling. You're now in contract. Okay, great. We've agreed that you have a gap and I have a thing that can help fill that gap, go into that space. Are you good with the price? Are you good with the contract terms? Are you good with this? Yeah, great. Am I good with it? And this is why contracts are so important. These can be verbal, these can be handshakes, these can be written, okay? The tighter, the cleaner, the crisper the contract. And another word for contract is boundaries, is dependencies, is attachments. And this can go hand in hand in relationships. The cleaner the boundary, the cleaner the contract, the clearer the expectation, the less room for error. Because both you and that other party are solid in their masculine energy, holding that feminine communication, that feminine collaboration, that feminine energy of co-creation. That is where the magic happens. Because that's where you come together and you come together from a state of unattachment, of pure pleasure and joy, because you're serving, knowing that they are going to benefit from what you have, and they're fully receiving because they've accepted. And it's a win-win. It's a balanced giving and receiving. You sign it, you're good to go. So I'm going to stop and check in and see how everybody's doing. How are you with that? I have another sheet I'm going to share with you. And for everybody that's joined, I can send you a copy of these sheets, okay? So another thing that I've created is a daily sales accountability sheet, okay? This is, both of these sheets, by the way, is what you get when you work with me privately with my business mentorship, or when you work with me as part of the one agency, the business leadership team, okay? Because this is what I know, this is what I do. So this is for you to create a structure and a system to get you going, okay? What's your objective? What's your desired goal, okay? You have 7 key areas of your life: spiritual, mental, emotional, relationship, career, financial. What is your desired goal? Do you want to make $1 million? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want to work part-time? Do you want to quit your 9 to 5? Do you want to build a charity? Whatever your goal is. Do you want to have a beautiful home? Do you want to, right? Whatever your goal is. Okay, great. What are you selling to help you achieve your goal? Why, what, how? When do you want to have it done by? This is the accountability for you. And the reason I put this is because when you hold yourself accountable, you are devoting your energy, your masculine energy is in devotion to your feminine. Feminine wants this. Your feminine wants this goal, okay? Your masculine goal is to make your feminine happy. Your feminine wants to just lay back and receive divine guidance and wisdom, share it with everybody, and channel it into the ground, ground it into the ground through action. And your masculine energy wants your feminine to be happy, so he grounds the action, okay? So what are you selling? When are you selling it by? And when you sell it by, you celebrate. You give yourself a gold star, because that's how you continue to build accountability and credibility and love and respect and devotion within yourself. There is no limitation to the amount that you can celebrate. Think about how many gold stars your kids get when they come home from kindergarten. There's gold stars all over everything. Okay. Then you need to receive value for your worth. The Latin word of wealth, I'm sorry, I do this wrong all the time. The Latin word for worth is directly connected to the word wealth. If you do not feel worthy to receive, how could you possibly receive wealth? Again, lots of ancestral, generational patterns, attachments, dependencies. This is a journey, okay? We are all going through our own journey of worthiness. So then what you're going to do is you're not going to sell, but you're going to say, okay, well, who are a few people I know that might want this? Let's go have a conversation. Whether they buy from you or not, it doesn't matter. This is just you to hold yourself accountable to do an action. And when you do the action, give yourself a gold star. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, amazing. What did you do today? Awesome. Give yourself a gold star. What are you going to do tomorrow? You're going to write it down. And when you do it tomorrow, you're going to give yourself a gold star. And then you're going to reflect. What came in the way? Was my time management off? Did I have like operational things come up? Were my finances an issue? Did I have to pick up my kid from school? Did I, I just couldn't get out of bed, or I couldn't go live, whatever block came up, not a problem. This is just an opportunity for you to see that, to acknowledge it, and to just send that experience love, because you're growing and you're trying, and you're going to keep doing it. It's like the little engine that could, right? I think I can. You know you can do this. You know you can do this. I know you can do this. Here's some structure you can give yourself. Again, not rules. I am absolutely not telling you what to do. I don't even do all of these because this is a lot for me. I pick and choose and I ebb and I flow. But these are like standard practices that you can implement across any of your social medias if that is where your business is. You can still even do this in person networking events. I want to share what I do with a couple people a day. I want to talk about what I do with a couple people a day. I want to go connect with X amount of people a day to get to know them. Because there is a lost art in communicating where we are constantly, as humans, caught up in this rat race of go, 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 work, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. This like land grab, seeking, right? The masculine hustle, that masculine, I want more, I want more, I want more. And there's nothing wrong with this. But when we're out of balance, when we don't stop and bring those intimate conversations in here and get to know people other than what are you going to do for me? One of the things I've started doing over the last couple of years. And I distinctly know that this does not happen in corporate, is because we're so jam-packed with meetings and agendas and schedules, and fine. And I did this in my group program yesterday with the aligned women. I had a plan of what I was going to do to start out, and we didn't. We did something different, and it was beautiful. And so I started out, and it was our kickoff call, and I just asked everybody to just take a few minutes and tell us about yourself. I want to get to know you. Like, we're in this for the long haul. I genuinely want to get to know you and genuinely want your friendship and value you and value your importance. I want to know what's important to you. I know what's important to me. I don't know what's important to you. And when you go into a corporate business meeting, you've got your list, all the things you need to check off, and you maybe have 2 minutes for chit chat, and it's always about work. How many times have you started a corporate business meeting without even opening your book for the first 15 or 20 minutes and not talk about work? And that is part of the agenda. It's not because you're waiting for the presenter to come in and speak. You're just genuinely getting to know people. And we're so caught up in this busyness that we forget that we're all important and life can be gone like that. And do you want that last conversation you had with a person to be, what are you going to buy for me today? Can I sell you? It's icky. And if you're in your integrity, and you respect the people that you're talking to, it's because you respect yourself. To slow down and genuinely enjoy life. Because our purpose isn't, to work to almost 65 and then retire and then finally slow down. Because you could get hit by a bus tomorrow. That person that you're talking to could get diagnosed with a terminal illness tomorrow. And we have forgotten the importance and the value of human communication in sales. So if you need help learning how to communicate, not a problem, because I had to unlearn a lot of this. And a lot of this felt really weird and uncomfortable and robotic and automatic for me at the beginning. And now it's fine. But I'll give you an example, because when you and I have history of codependency and addiction and attachment in my relationships and in my experiences. And so when you pull yourself out of a codependent relationship, because really in a codependent relationship, you're swimming in the same bubble. That feels normal. And this is a lot of our reality. Well, we're in the bubble, like I got it, you got it. Like, we don't know how to be interdependent. And when you separate and you pull yourself out and you're standing in your own interdependence and you're learning how to lead yourself and you're growing and you're rising, it feels really uncomfortable, like you've locked off an arm. And so you would look to guidance for others that are a little bit ahead of you in their interdependence and say, okay, well, what's worked for you? Can you show me? Because I can't see it yet, because I'm still so attached to that old, because that old feels normal. I need some help. And so this could be a very easy guideline for help. Okay. Leave warm, genuine comments. Leave 3 posts. Do they have any stories? These are guidelines for how to communicate in a healthy way. The very first thing I'm going to tell you before you do this, and I think I said this at the beginning, but this is about most important. Before you begin any selling or any offering, you're going to take care of yourself first. Okay. So you're going to make sure that you've scheduled in wellness to your day. And if you need an hour of wellness, and whether that's going for a walk or working out or meditating or having a healthy lunch, no social media, no attaching to anything, no TV, nothing. You're going to fill up your bucket. Because when your bucket is full, it overflows. That's the offer. There's a book that my daughter introduced me to quite a few years ago, and I can't remember the exact title of it, but it's the bucket filling book. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a book that talks about filling up your bucket, and filling up your cup, filling up your bucket. And so you can't take from somebody else's bucket to fill up your bucket. But when your bucket is full, it's overflowing and there's sparkles everywhere. And this is why I love sparkles so much, because it's like, just pick up the sparkles that are out of my bucket. My bucket's full of sparkles. There's lots of sparkles for you. Just grab my sparkles. But you can't have somebody grab your sparkles if your bucket's not filled, because you're going to be going to them to take it, or they're going to be coming to you, and you're not going to be in the right frame of mind to even know. And so your first homework when you're selling or offering is to take care of yourself first. This is also why the wellness membership we have created is so vital. I have to laugh because I literally this is what's popped up on my calendar. That's my wellness self-care. These are my kids. I schedule in my wellness, because if I don't, the busy go hustle automatic autopilot in me will just keep going. Because when I'm in flow, I'm feeling amazing, but then I crash. So I have to schedule in my wellness. So I'm going to suggest, before you do any offering, sharing, selling, serving, you got to make sure your bucket is filled. That's the masculine container. Okay. You do that for an X amount of time, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour, or even 5 or 10 minutes before. And then you do your selling, your offering, however you want to do that. Maybe you're going to an event, maybe you're writing a post, maybe you're communicating, negotiating, serving your clients in your containers. When you're done that, before you go to the next thing, you're going to pause and you're going to check, where am I at? Do I need to top up my bucket? Your bucket might be full. Your bucket might be, 3/4, and it might be depleted. You're going to fill up your bucket again. And this is like so backwards for me, because when I was first rewiring, I spent a lot of time in wellness and self-care filling up my bucket. Like I was meditating 3 times a day because I needed it, because I needed to learn how to fill up my bucket. And now my bucket is more fill than less fill. Before it was like 0 all the time. So now I'm at a natural state of a full bucket. So it doesn't take much for me to fill. It's more of a maintenance. And so this is why this membership is so important that we've created, because you might need help filling up your bucket all the way, or you might need help just to keep you at a higher maintenance so you can then go higher. And this is the concept of this harmonious style of leadership that we're all stepping into, this shift that we are moving into collectively. It's this balanced giving and receiving, this harmonious exchange of like, I help you, you help me, not I'm working for you and I'm depleted and exhausted. And then I go home and I crash and I drink a glass of wine, crack a beer, watch Netflix, watch Sex in the City, yell at my kids, fight with my partner, don't have sex, don't exercise, eat ice cream. So I'm going to check in and see where everybody is at, because I didn't know where this was going to go. And, I just kind of shared. How has this been for you? How does this feel? Does this make sense? Do you have any questions? I'm going to leave you a link to access those 2 documents for those that joined. That'll be my special gift for you, because these are part of my coaching and they're not actually public facing. Awesome. I'm glad, Jennifer. And I'm just going to see, I think Gina, you might be still on. You're welcome to comment, Gina, if you have any questions. If not, you can message me privately. Or actually, message me through the group. That's probably best, or on here, so that everybody can see what we're saying. And that'll help everybody. Oh, hi, Claudia. The replay will be uploaded afterwards. And Claudia, you also have these documents because you're in my Aligned Women program. And I know we're talking later today. And yeah, like this is so important. And I'm so passionate about the frequency and the energetics behind what we do. Yes, this was titled Sales, Feminine Energy Sales Leadership. But it's really the essence of communication. Because when you're, like it just hits me because when you're communicating in authentic harmony, you're not selling. Back to Gina's point, you're not selling. It's not icky. You know this shit. Like you're in it. This is how I am. Do you want it? Not a problem. When you're ready, I am here. I am here for you when you're ready. I am holding space for you. My masculine energy is holding space for you. And I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to go into this empty space that I've just kind of created between us. I'm going to hold it fiercely because I love you and because I love me. And so I'm not going to move. And I'm going to give you the space and all the time in the world you need to choose to rise in your self-leadership. Because you're going to not just thank me, you're going to thank yourself for rising in your leadership, for increasing that confidence, for increasing that worthiness, because you made a decision based on what you need, not because I told you to do it. This is the undercurrent of the massive shift that we are collectively going through right now. This is why it is so important for us to understand the importance of self-leadership. Yeah, exactly, Claudia. True honesty. And I'm just looking at the time on my screen and it's September 15th, 10:55. So we got fives. I'm good with that. This was lovely. This was so much fun. I literally didn't even have an agenda. I was like, let's just go and see where we go. So I would love your feedback. If you want to hear more about this, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you want to go further, let me know what you want. I'm going to be hosting these all the time inside this space. Let me know what you need, and I'm here to help. This was really a lot of fun. Thank you so much. I love you. And I will see you next time.